moving on into this week's games and our picks and discussions, we have to start with a champ. All right, just to review, Eddie was 5-1 last week. Now you're 9-3 overall. Like, you're making people money. Like, you're up 6 units. Like, people loving you in Kentucky, huh?
Besides week 0, he's 9-3. Besides week
they
0.
are.
Yeah, we
Yeah, week 0, nobody counted because when we talked about it on this, nobody even used those picks.
I would love to count it too because I had a good week 0 as well.
It was week 0.
Well, it counted on the win-loss record of the teams, and it counted in certain people's pocketbooks too. So,
yes, it did.
Yes,
sure,
but not on
for this beautiful.
Hey, we're just getting everybody warm. We're good. Hey,
beautiful scenario that we have
you
here.
You always remember what you do in November. So, hey,
or the first.
I'm just gonna let you guys know.
6 units. Yeah.
I'm just gonna let.
Either way.
I want to let you guys know. Week 3, like, this is where I've watched enough ball now. I've seen everybody play. Let's go. I'm ready to go. So, I felt really good. Like, by the way, I felt so good about my picks last week that if I knew what was going to happen, I still would have picked the way I picked. I'm very, like, Buffalo was in the red zone 47 times. I needed 1 score to cover. Okay, I lost. TCU, I don't know. Did any of you guys watch that game? I know there was a bunch of other games on. I was watching it because I picked them. TCU, like, dominated the game. They could have scored 700 points if they wanted to. And just very frustrated on those guys. And then, now I would say this. The one that I missed and never had a chance and was very impressed was Mississippi State. And DJ, me and you both missed this one. Mississippi State controlled that game against NC State.
I know. That really surprised me. Really surprised me.
But I was like, defensively, they look good. So
they did.
But it really goes back to what's going on with those ACC teams. You know, if you're starting to see a trend conference-wise. So, which is going to lead me to some picks this week. So I'm ready to go. All right, Eddie, start us off with your first pick. Who we got?
I'm going to ride the Iowa Hawkeyes. As Kent State comes in, and they are minus 22, and that will be my first pick of the week. I'm a believer.
Hey, you know what? I used to, and I would tell you what, I used to pick with you about these big spreads, but you're hitting them, so nobody can complain.
Yeah, same thing. The one I missed last week, I had one where somebody scored, and that's the problem with those big ones. Somebody scored with 1:06 left, and
yeah, you got bad beaten for a perfect weekend.
Yeah. And then that the only one I lost last week was the Minnesota game that, the first 2 drives they dominate like I thought they would. Thought they would run the ball against Ball State and they get up 14-3 and I'm going, okay, here we go. And then they start throwing it. And I don't get it. I just do not get it. But anyway, that was the one I lost. But I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes minus 22 Kent State.
All right, DJ, number 2. Who you got?
All right, I'm taking Texas plus 25 over Rice. I think they're going to bounce back. That game's back in Austin, and I think that they're going to be fired up and they're going to try to prove something.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. Not one of my picks, but I agree with you on that one. My first pick, and DJ, you may. I'm taking the Oklahoma Sooners. Minus 22 against Nebraska. I'm going with a big spread. Now, why am I going with a big spread after I just talked about OU being inconsistent? You don't poke the bear, okay? They're good. They're talented. Like, I think I'm being dead serious here. This is the only reason I would take this line. I think Lincoln Riley is going to try to make a point. Again, it's all this stuff that happened last year, trying to get out of the game and all the old-time rivalry. There's some bad blood there. I think Lincoln Riley may try to score 85 points if he can. Like, I don't ever see him cutting off the juice, and I just don't think. 22 points. I really do think this could be like a 63-21 game or something crazy like that. I think they're going to try to, and I don't even, the over wasn't that bad, but, OU's questions on defense, but I think they're pissed off and they're going to try to make a point in this game. So I'm taking OU
pick.
minus 22.
Good pick.
Yeah, that is a good pick.
All right. DJ, did you have that one too?
I have that one, and I also have Iowa too. So I actually have,
sweet.
I've got, I already have 2 common picks with you guys. I got Oklahoma at 22, and I got Iowa at 22. I think that they're both going to beat the spread there. And I agree with you about Oklahoma. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that score last week, but he tried to score 100 last week on poor Western Carolina. You know what I mean? It was 76-0 against those guys. And so I definitely think against even a more high-profile opponent, he's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with all the bad blood, like there's bad blood here.
Yes, definitely.
And don't it's like I was trying to tell you guys, A&M and Alabama, don't piss the guy off. Let's just let him play.
Right.
Let him play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, Eddie, knock us out. Pick two.
Pick two. Kind of the same thing that you guys have been talking about here. I think there's going to be a very pissed off Ohio State team, and they're minus 25 against Tulsa, and I'm not sure you can make that line big enough. So I just think that that score will be high, and I think they'll play with some energy on defense, and I think Tulsa's getting ready to run into a buzzsaw.
The only thing I would say about that, Eddie, is some people don't realize this, but Tulsa was one of the top defenses in the country last year. Yeah. And they've actually played really good defense this year as well. They just haven't been able to score. But I don't disagree with you, but I just want to point out that Tulsa is really good on defense, for those of you that don't know that. They were, I think, top 10 last year and have really done a good job this year too. Oklahoma State beat them, I think, 28-23 last week, I guess. And anyway.
They will rush the ball for over 200 yards against this defense. And if you rush the ball for over 200, you have a chance to win the game. And I think they'll hammer them.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
All right. Since you've already got three out there, I'll go ahead and get my second one. We'll try to catch up here, okay? So you won't be sitting there holding it. My second pick, okay, is I'm going UVA, Virginia, on the road at North Carolina, plus 8.5. I am they're good. A lot of people are not talking about Virginia. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
They had a big win. They had a big win.
Yeah, they did. They crushed Illinois.
Big win. I think they're good on defense. I think they're good on offense, and I think with North Carolina, I think their issues are coming up front. Okay, and it's not in the skill positions. It's not a quarterback, obviously, but it's up front really. And they're playing decent on defense. I know that was an issue coming into the season, but up front offensively, they're struggling a little bit. I think that's where, in my opinion, when I'm looking at lines, and just so I guess the people listening, when I'm looking at lines, especially now moving forward, this is what I do is I look if I can find a matchup that I know somebody's going to dominate up front, regardless of who's at quarterback and skill positions. And they're an underdog, I'll take them every time. Because if you can win the line of scrimmage battle, you're going to keep the game close, regardless of what everybody else thinks.
Correct.
And what else you got? You're going to keep the game close, and that's a 2-score line. And so, if it was like 2.5, 3.5, I probably wouldn't touch it. But since it's 2 scores, it's 8.5. I'm taking Virginia all day long on that one. Not saying that North Carolina won't win, but I'm taking Virginia on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost took that one. I saw that line too and noticed that.
Yep. All right, Eddie, pick 3.
Pick 3 will be my lock of the week, and it's going to be Texas Tech minus 21, and FIU is going to fly to Lubbock, Texas, and it is not a very fun place to fly to. It's difficult. It will be rough on those kids from South Florida, and I think it'll be really tough for them to keep that within 21 points. So that's my lock.
You were at Texas Tech for a little bit, wasn't you?
Nope, never.
You didn't go to Texas Tech?
No, had to go play there when I was at the University of Miami, and it wasn't very fun. Now, we were really good then, but it's still. I think this is a lock game of the week.
Lock, I like it. I do need to go back and so Raquel people know my lock of the week is OU Nebraska. Just so everybody knows, I forgot to say that. That's my lock for the week. I start off with my lock, so I'm going OU Nebraska. All right, go ahead, DJ. Who's your next pick?
Well, let me just say this: my lock is Rice, Texas. I think Texas is going to beat Rice by more than 25. And next pick for me is my money line pick, and
Okay.
that is Arizona State is favored by 2 over BYU, and I think BYU is going to win this game. Okay, and and obviously they're going to cover because Arizona State's favored by 2. But man, they're playing good football right now, and they were playing good football last year. You know what I mean? And it's just continued and it's rolling. And I think that they're going to be tough to deal with. This game is at BYU. It was a great atmosphere if you watched that Utah game late the other night. I just think that that they're going to get this game.
I am not picking that game, but I love that pick.
Yeah.
I look at that one very like I am. There may be my own money maybe on that one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, you got this is a good like I'm listening to y'all and there's going to be a battle. I think right now, DJ, I think you're undefeated. I do. I really believe that. I think these picks are really, really good.
You know what? I think if everybody just bet every game that we all said, then they'd come out on top. Because I feel good about a lot of your guys' picks too. And I don't mean to kumbaya you guys, but I think there's some picks this week that I think are going to beat the spread for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they would if people would, regardless of what happens, if people just picked, even with my crappy record that I've had, if they just went all across the board and picked all of our games, last week they'd have been 9, 10, 11, 12, they'd have been 12 and 4, plus 8
right.
units. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good gig.
That's what I'm
Plus
saying.
Plus money lines. That was pretty
Yes.
good. That's pretty good big.
Yep.
All right, here we go. My third pick. I'm going to piss some people off with this pick, Eddie. I'm going Penn State minus 6.5 against Auburn.
Ooh.
It is I'm going to piss some people off on this one. It is a night game in Happy Valley on the road, whiteout. They'll be juiced. I watched first time. I made the comment. I won't say who I made the comment to, but a very good friend of mine that has close Auburn connections. Watched Auburn. I played at Auburn. Went to school there. The whole deal. Very, very disappointing is not the word. I offensive line wise, they're atrocious. Auburn's struggling offensive line wise. They've played Alabama State. They played Akron, and they're not playing consistent enough. I don't think on offense. Now the Tank Bigsby, he'll have to carry the ball for Auburn to win. He'll have to carry the ball 45 times. He is a legit dude. He can play, but can they block for him? I don't know if they're going to be able to do enough up front, like we talked about. That's the thing I'm looking at, is the matchup up front. Now Auburn on defense, they're good, but offensive wise, they've been scoring 60 points, and that's what everybody's talking about. And I think that's what's even kept this spread where it's at. I think Penn State beats them pretty good at home. So I was very offensive line wise, they got a long way to go. So, all right, Eddie, got you back. What you got? Pick 3 or pick 4 for you?
Pick 4 for me will be Stanford minus 11 at Vandy. I thought that was a very impressive win. Kind of going back, and unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, DJ had Stanford, Kansas State, or somebody like that, and I thought that was a lock in my opinion too. But they just switched it around. They played like you thought they were going to play the next week, and I think they will keep it going. I do not think Vandy is a very good football team right now, and I think that's just I'm really excited about
Is
that
this
pick.
the SAT Bowl?
It is the SAT.
Yes,
All right, so
they're going
we
to have a
got the
spelling bee before the game.
Yeah, this is the SAT Bowl. We have the ACT Bowl also, but I don't think anybody's picking it. But you also have Northwestern playing Duke this week. So,
It's
Oh,
an
yeah, that's
academic weekend.
yes, academic weekend. I mean, if
Yep.
we had Harvard and Princeton playing, it'd be a perfect weekend, right?
Right.
So,
Yes.
but
Hey, let me just say this, Tyler. You gave me all kinds of crap last week for picking Vandy to beat Colorado State, and that was a W for me.
I didn't.
And
give
you
crap
went off.
about
You
the
went off
pick.
for about 15 minutes after Eddie got off the phone about how crazy I was for even touching that game. And I mean, I came out on top of that thing, and I just want to be humble like Eddie and just say that. You know what I mean? Just
Hey, I didn't give you. I do. I want to go on record and say I didn't give you crap about picking Vandy. I gave you crap about picking the game. Period. Like I don't even know. Like I could have picked the game too. Just flip a coin and see if it went heads or tails. Who knows how that game was going to go? I mean, that's just like, you know.
I think I made some good points, and I mean, I came out on top. That's all I want to say. I mean, we brought up Vandy.
Hey,
You know,
congratulations.
we don't always go back and talk about each game individually, and yeah, this was one to not only give Vandy some props, but definitely give me a lot of props. So.
Yeah, I just didn't know which. I didn't know. Like I don't even know what inspired you to do that one. That was a good one, but that's it. But that is what it is. All right, pick 4. Who you got 4 and 4. I guess is your 5th pick. Who you got there, DJ?
So this was a tough one for me, but I went with Mississippi State -2 over Memphis. I think Mississippi State's going to beat Memphis more than 2 points. And that was hard because I do like those guys at Memphis, and I think they play good football. But last week kind of changed my thought process on Mississippi State. They ran some different schemes, man. They had some 8-man drop beaters in there. They played really good defense, and I think that they're going to beat Memphis by more than 2 points.
I'm not touching this game. I looked at it. It's at Memphis,
I know.
and
It's -2 for a reason. It scares the heck out of me.
Scared.
Tough place to play.
Memphis score some points too. They're scoring points. Man, I don't know. It's going to be. I'm going to watch the game. I'm interested to see what happens. But yeah, that's my man Mike Mack. Mike McIntyre at Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
Charles Clark.
I worked for him at Colorado. I think he's an excellent coach, and I think those guys have a great staff. But I saw some things in that Mississippi State-NC State game I wasn't anticipating. And after watching that game is what changed my idea about this.
Yeah, and I'll say this: Norvell left that they do a great job in recruiting. And the other reason I didn't, just exactly what you were talking about a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember what game we were talking about, but DJ. But a lot of these kids that are at Memphis wanted to go to Mississippi State and got shunned for whatever reason, right? And so there's that. Like, it's the same way when Ole Miss plays Memphis. Like, they either beat Ole Miss or it's closer than it's supposed to be. I mean, it's never, there's a legit chip on the shoulder when it comes to Memphis playing SEC teams.
SEC teams.
Especially
the
the same thing.
Mississippi.
Remember, they used to beat Tennessee. I mean, it was like it was when Tennessee was rolling. I mean, it's just always that thing. So I just stayed away from that one for that reason. But I wouldn't. That's when I'd be having to flip a coin. I don't know. I don't feel gray either way but what you saw with Mississippi State,
My first thought was with you,
Yeah.
DJ.
When I saw Mississippi State, they
My
looked
first
good.
thought was with you.
Yeah.
All right, my 4th pick. I'm going to catch up here. My 4th pick. I'm a little surprised that neither one of you got this one. I'm taking Marshall -9 versus East Carolina. I watched that South Carolina East Carolina game. Marshall's good. I don't see it with the East Carolina. I don't see it. I think Marshall beats them pretty good at home. So, go Marshall -9.
I like it.
All right, pick number 5 for you, Eddie. Who we got?
I'm going to stay with those Hogs against Georgia Southern, -23.5. I think the Hogs will cover that one this week in Fayetteville. I think one of the things that is hard for a head coach to do after a big win is to next week is to, get the players ready to go. Everybody's going to be patting them on the back, telling them how great they are. And I think Sam will be able to do that. And it might start slow, but I think at the end, this one will be big.
Yeah, I will. I don't.
Time for them to make a statement. Time for them to make a statement.
Does anybody know off the top of your head? I don't know. Not something
No.
you would keep up. Let me look it up real quick. So the over-under is 52.5. That's probably high. Now, I'm not picking it, but that's probably high because Georgia Southern, they're going to run, basically triple option out of the gun. So they're going to keep the ball on the ground. I think Arkansas keeps it on the ground. I think clock runs on that one. So it'll be interesting to see on that one. So that's a lot of points in that game.
Yes,
all right,
it is.
DJ, I think this is your last 1, 2, 3, 4. It's your last pick, DJ, and this has got to be your money line pick, right? No, you already got your money line pick with BYU. All right.
This pick is the Alabama Crimson Tide will beat Florida by more than 15.5 points, in my opinion. I think that they're good, man. And Nick, I mean, he's going to have them ready to play. And, Florida's been a little, spotty to me. I haven't really seen a dominant Florida team this year. And, what's crazy to me is another game that was intrigued me was Miami. Miami this week is favored again. But to me, that just shows you how dominant Alabama is. The fact that Vegas was going to give Miami 6.5 points to win this week, and I thought about that game. You know what I mean? But then I started thinking in the back of my mind, well, maybe Alabama's just that good. And Appalachia State is that good. That's the thing, too, is in my opinion, Alabama's good and Appalachia State.
I did hit that game last week, just so y'all know.
You did. Yes, you did. Okay?
Yes,
but
you
Alabama's
did.
good and Appalachian State's good, and Miami's favored by 6.5 points this week to win. You know what I'm saying? And so that just told me that Alabama is really that good, and I haven't seen Florida be dominant this year, and I'm going with Alabama.
Do not disagree with you there. I had a bunch of games written down that I like. I like a lot of games this week. I will go on record saying that. It was hard for me to get down to 6. I like a lot of. I was trying to pick the 6 safest ones, but that was one I had written down. I think the scary part about Alabama is it's week 3, okay, which means that's another week they're getting better. And here's the one thing that I don't know if I've ever talked about this on a podcast or not, but the hardest week, like when you're playing Mercer at Alabama, Nick makes it feel like you're playing the New England Patriots. It's the worst week. It's 4th and inches every single second. It's nonstop, okay? And then when it comes to big games, he kind of he's got this way of building everybody up, and it's like, no big deal. There will be no anxiety on the Alabama sideline about playing in the swamp. Like, you can take your home field advantage and big games and just throw that. I mean, they might as well be playing in front of nobody on the practice field. Like, it's crazy how that happens. I think you got an inexperience. When I say inexperience, a lot of, there's not I wouldn't call Emory Jones or whoever an experienced quarterback. They've played in the games, but it's a lot different than playing 5 snaps and playing all of them. Dude, I'm with you 100%. That's a great pick.
Yep.
I like
that's a
that
good pick. Good pick. Yep, I think they're going to.
All right, so my 5th pick. I'll go ahead. I was going to save this one for last, but since my man DJ just mentioned it, my money line pick this week is the Michigan State Spartans over the Miami Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
I got a chance. I've watched Michigan State play. I've watched Miami play. I'm just going to let you know. And by the way, I don't even know what the under is on this one, too. I might double up on this one. Let's see what the under is on this bad boy. Michigan State can run the football. Just so y'all know, they can run the football. And everybody's like, well, this and that. They played this thing. Let me hit you with this right here. All right, so Michigan State, it's already dropped, but it's dropping by the second. I'm going to take them at 6.5, or excuse me, money line. I don't care. Money line is at plus 180 right now. All right, but let's go back and look at Michigan State last week. Okay, now everybody's like, well, they didn't play anybody, or the win didn't look impressive, right? Everybody's like, they played Youngstown State, they won 42-14. That's what you're supposed to do, right? But listen to this right here, okay? Just passing, they were 20 of 28 for 323 and 4 touchdowns. That's 11.5 yards an attempt. Every time they dropped back, it was a first down. But more impressive to me is the rushing stats. 38 for 272, 7.2 yards an attempt. And then the guy ran for like 3 bills in week 1, right? I mean, they can run the football. What does Miami struggle doing? Stopping the run. Okay, I think this is got Michigan State's got a ball club, and they're nobody's talking about them. But when you can run the football and can control the line of scrimmage, they're playing well on defense. Dude, I love Michigan State all day long in this game. This is my favorite money line pick of the year so far. So I'm loading up on Michigan State. What do you think about that? You like that game, DJ?
I do. I almost picked that game. I mean, it was going to be that one, or it was going to be the Memphis Mississippi State game. You know, those two. Those were my finals there on which one was going to be my 6th pick in this round. I just stayed away from it because I don't think we really know how good Miami is because they've played 2 really good opponents. That's the only thing. I agree with you. I believe Michigan State has a ball club. I think Michigan State has played really good football in the first 2 weeks. They struggled last year. You know, they really didn't have a very good team last year, but they played really good football in the first 2 weeks. The only thing that held me back from it was that I don't think we know who Miami is yet because of who they've played. That was the only thing. But that was going to be, like I said, it was either going to be that one or it was going to be Mississippi State, Memphis for me.
I love Mel Tucker as a ball coach. I do. He was one and done at Colorado, but I like what he's doing. And the thing I liked about when they're playing Northwestern, who they're playing week 1, is how they were coaching. Like how he reminds crazy. He's a great guy, but the way he coaches, like he's taken so much of, he was at Georgia for a long time and all that stuff, but he's taken so much where he coaches to the whistle. They were killing people, and you can see him coaching the culture about finish. They were winning the game, but the way he was coaching them with 36 seconds to go, like it was, the game was on line when it wasn't. I love that stuff. So. All right, Eddie, let's roll with your last pick of the week. Who do you got?
Which will be my money line pick, and it will be an interesting pick, I think, for you guys. How about Indiana at home?
Like it.
I don't think they've played to their potential. I'm a big believer in Coach Allen, and I think it'll be a big day at Indiana this weekend. That's my money line pick.
Yeah,
interesting.
I do not disagree with you on that one either. I'm not going to fight you on that one either. You know how much I love my Hoosiers, but I know what I guess the level of disappointment was after the Iowa game. Okay, but Iowa's a good football team as we've discussed. They played Idaho last week, which nothing, but they want this game. And this is a game this isn't something that, hey, week 3 we got Cincinnati. They've known about this game for a while. So I think this one's it's gonna be a big game. I think they got them at home. And look, Tom.
And Cincinnati's tough. I mean, it was. I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but I just really believe that it's going to be tough with that crowd. They know they need this game. I think that. Them playing Iowa, they learned a lot, and so we'll see. I don't know. It's kind of jumping out on the edge here.
I don't disagree with that. I like that one. All right.
I like your money line pick. I like yours too, Deej.
Yeah, I think there's some good games this week that you can earn some money.
All right, since Deej, we already got your last one. Your 6. My last pick I'm surprised nobody picked this one. My last pick, Colorado -1. -1, so it's basically a pick 'em at home versus Minnesota. I freaking I love see Eddie doesn't like this pick. I love this pick. All right.
I don't know because Minnesota screwed me. So I just don't know what team's going to show up, and because
I'm like, look, I don't care what they did on defense against A&M to match up against that talent. I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they're going to be able to line up and run the ball against Colorado at Colorado. I think Colorado's a good team. I do. I don't think they're a great team, but I think they're a good team. I think they got them at home. I think that's another tough place to play. DJ, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's them coming into Boulder. I like it. I'm taking basically Colorado to win is what it is. So
I think it's a good pick, and you're right in the fact that when you go play Colorado at home, and A&M played them at Mile High, but still the elevation is a factor. I mean, that's a factor on people. You know what I mean? You get tired quick. I mean, I was watching that game, and the A&M players looked tired, man. They did look tired, and they just can't catch their breath. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Minnesota. And I was at Colorado 3 years ago, so I was a part of recruiting most of those kids on defense, and they are talented. I mean, their defensive line, Terrence Lang, who's one of their defensive ends, we beat USC on him to get him, and the only reason was he had some academic work that he still had to do, and I don't know that he was committed to USC, and I don't know that USC was willing to wait on him like we were, and so we took him, and he started there for 4 years, and he's a senior now, and he's 6'6", 290 pounds, runs like a deer. I mean, he's an NFL defensive lineman. And Jalen Sammy's a nose guard that we took there from Colorado. He's 6'3", 350, and he plays nose guard, and he dominated in that game. You know, they have some really good defensive talent, and I know it firsthand because I was a part of recruiting it. And those guys have developed, and they're all juniors and seniors now. Nate Landman's one of the top linebackers in the nation. We signed him out of California, and they're going to be tough. The only thing I would say, Tyler, is I was not impressed with them on offense, but granted, they were playing Texas A&M, and Texas A&M is a very it was a very talented defense too. So it'd be interesting.
Maybe top 3 in the country.
Yes. So
yeah, I mean and I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Minnesota. I'm not. And maybe they proved me wrong this week, but I'm not sold on them at all. So, and then them being on the road.
I think it's a good pick.
Okay.
I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
It's one that's
the quarterback in Minnesota is not playing very well, at all.
Right. And then they lost their.
He ain't got those dudes. He ain't got those dudes he was throwing to a couple years ago. And he just looked out of sync bad.
And he don't have the running back either. You know, their best running backs.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was, and look, I don't care who's playing quarterback at A&M. If you hold A&M to 10 points, and it was 7-3 for a long time to the very end. I mean, you got, it was, which Texas A&M, we know there's a whole different story. It's like, but this is Texas A&M every year. Everybody wants to throw in a towel on Texas A&M right now too. This isn't unusual. It takes them a minute to get heated up, so we'll go there. All right, the last game I want to talk about, that was our picks. So go make you some money. I like these picks, man. Y'all. It's a good week. So